forth. And I believe this is the opportunity for you to get this side of the event out, because no one's willing to listen to it really, are they? But as we sit here now, we've got over 1,500 people on the live.
Brilliant, Daz.
You've just put your side across, and people have always wanted to hear this. You've had individuals that had an issue with you from the off, deliberately sat there with a girl who was 22. This girl has deliberately gone into a process where she's going to get you to... You've probably had numerous conversations with this.
Listen to what Darren's saying. Just listen.
Adult before, where he's been, you know, a little bit over the mark when it comes to sexual fucking whatever. But on this occasion, she's deliberately got you into that type of conversation to entrap you, so this hater that sat next to her can start spinning a narrative towards you and trying the utmost to assassinate your character and your progress in life. And to be honest, as you know, I got caught up in the same fucking mess. I was questioning certain things and so on and so forth. I've apologised for them actions, and that's why we're able to sit here in conversation man to man. But what people need to understand is when you've got people who are out to deliberately assassinate your character, they will do absolutely anything to manipulate and do what they need to do to assassinate that character. It's important and good on you for bringing it into the conversation. I don't want to go any further with it, to be honest with you, because I think it's all a narrative that you need to get past. It's a narrative that you need to put to bed. You don't need to be focusing on these individuals that have got a lot of hatred towards you and are trying to trip you up on this positive path you're on with to do with your acting and your bare knuckle fighting and so on and so forth.
I think I need to speak about it tonight, though.
Mate, from Bette Davis, which says consenting men and women having sex and messages exchanged is the normal way things are now, and nothing wrong with it. And they were the normal way then, and that's why you probably felt comfortable in participating in this type of conversation with that 22-year-old adult. You didn't, in a month of Sundays, believe she was going to switch and start spinning a narrative alongside these people that have got an agenda towards you for the personal reasons. So let's move on.
I didn't, you know what, that is something I do want to speak about tonight, because this is the last hurrah for me about this subject, because it's the reason why I was sectioned in a mental hospital. We'll get to that.
So 219.
So 219 it started, it began.
You had the conversation with this 22-year-old adult. She's spun a narrative with your hate, with some individual. We don't need.
No, it was Mr. It was a certain man that set it up.
Yeah, well, look, get that certain man out your head.
Yeah. So anyway,
when you're hating on it, although what he's done is absolutely diabolical, it's horrendous what he's tried to do to you, and the majority of the real people out there will be thinking, what a fucking nasty guy that fella was. But you can't be sitting there with him having the ability to sit in your mind and having your emotions turn into hate.
You know what, Dad? I can honestly say, mate, I'm sitting here right now in a very peaceful place in my mind, and I'm able to speak about this because that's why. Because I'll tell you the experience 5 weeks ago, but that's why I'm able to sit here now and talk about this in a very calm manner without getting triggered, because this whole trolling changed my life for the good and the bad. For the good, it's learned me to respect women more, in the fact that if I ever do want to settle down with a good, loyal woman
that wants to make you and not break you,
a good, loyal woman would not send you dirty pictures on the first day. If I want to meet a good, loyal woman, I can't be going sending things and, you know, coming online, trying to be an ambassador for mental health and portraying a message and then being a hypocrite in my private life, sending this, that and the other to Tom, Dick and Harry, being a fake. And it's made me change that way, because now I respect myself now. And if I'm to respect myself, then I'll be able to respect a woman. But at that time, 219, my mind was absolutely destroyed mentally. I had my pride taken from me, my dignity. I was walking around embarrassed. I was getting called the N, walking around the streets. My family.
Sorry for interjecting.
It's important. I do mention all this, Daz.
Yeah, we're going to mention it. We're going to mention it, but let me take you through the process slowly. I don't want you to start. I can see your body language is completely changed. I can see your facial expressions. And the last thing I want to do on the back of this conversation is have you sitting there in a mad little emotional state over this fucking and this situation that these rats have put you through. The same rats that have targeted you has labelled me as someone who targets children, have tried to label me as a nonce and so on. So I know exactly what you're going through, and this is not my objective here. You know, we're going into 219. You had an adult conversation with an adult woman. The woman showed you private parts of her, you show private parts, whatever, and so on forth. We move along. All of a sudden, you've got a campaign of hate targeting you, trying to derail you from your path of life, trying to take you away from your acting. We kick into...
It actually started as it got worse on Bulletproof, because I got the part in Bulletproof and the individuals actually rang Bulletproof to say that I was and Bulletproof rang me up after filming and says, can we do a background check on you because we've had information passed to us? And I ain't got a problem. So they done it, came back clean, kept my job, and I'm in Bulletproof, as you've seen on Sky TV. Then what happened was the last 2 years have been the worst because I haven't been able to get work. Companies, sponsorships have been harassed, stalked.
I'm aware of this because these people, well, let's have it right, they've got the financial backing from somewhere to be able to target you when you're going to certain gyms and broadcasting.
Exactly. Financial backing. From who, though? Where's all the money coming from? This is why people didn't want DECCA go on a platform like this. Because he'll come out. He's not being targeted, is he? He's being spoke to like a proper person. He's having his say. And he's saying things what people haven't heard before.
What gyms you're going to, these individuals are contacting them gyms, getting your membership stopped. It got to the point, mate, where you got absolutely irrelevant, weak-minded, poisonous people that batter women, drug women to sleep with them, do all this mad shit and try and conduct themselves in a public atmosphere as if they're all respectful and so on. You've got these absolute complete dickheads that start calling you out for fights. How did that feel to have complete knobheads calling you out to fight? How did that feel? Especially when they're calling you out on the back of situations that are absolutely untrue. How did that make you feel as a real fighting man to have fake fighting men calling you out?
Made us feel it was horrible because I knew, I'm not going to, like I say, this isn't about other people, but the people calling me, I knew so much about them that if I ever came online and said about it, which is actually coming out now, people would just think I was playing tit for tat and being a liar. So I just never said anything. I've let karma take its course now, and it is finally coming out. But when they were calling me out, do you know, have you ever heard people say, does that? I never had that killer instinct in fights, like I'm too soft with people sometimes.
Yeah.
That's because I don't like fighting, mate. People think I'm this fighting man. And I call myself a fighting man, but that's a facade. I'm not a fighting man, mate. I don't like hurting people. I get scared. I don't want it on my conscience of a death. I don't want to punch someone and...
We saw that with Dean, though, didn't we? Didn't we, though? So, what he's saying there is true. So, we saw it with Dean, didn't we?
And add trauma to my mind that's already there. I mean, I'm already suffering. I don't want to kill a man and then, feel for the family and stuff like that, man. So when I go soft with opponents, it's not because I'm too soft, it's because I don't like fighting. It's like putting pinning a lion in the corner. It's like the hyenas, are all hyenas snapping at me, and one day the lion just snaps.
It is what it is, mate. But I think the majority of those people on this live can see and have heard what type of man you are. I think they're all forming the right opinion on what you are and who you are. You're basically like a gentle giant that's who has to defend his castle. But what I'm trying to say to you is it must have been very disheartening to have complete irrelevant individuals